Chapter 1, Verse 2.
Allah, Lord of the worlds.
Allah, the Exalted, is the Lord of the worlds as He is the creator and sustainer of the entire universe. He has full control over every single entity from the smallest atom to the largest creation such as the divine throne. Except for a few members of the creation, every atom in existence recognizes and acknowledges this great fact and thus continuously praises Allah, the Exalted. Chapter 17, Verse 44.
The seven heavens and the earth and whatever is in them exalt Him. And there is not a thing except that it exalts Allah by His praise, but you do not understand their way of exalting.
No creature has the power to free themselves of His lordship whether they believe in Him or not. His lordship has no equivalent as it includes all of creation. It has no beginning, no end and no decline in authority or control. Allah, the Exalted, in His infinite knowledge knew the weakness of the creation in praising Him, according to His infinite status. So out of mercy He declared how to praise Him in this verse. Otherwise, how can a finite creature praise the Creator, according to His infinite status, without aid from Allah, the Exalted? This has been confirmed in a hadith found in Sunan Abu Dawood, number 879. As Allah, the Exalted, is the Lord of the universe, He must be obeyed and never disobeyed. A Muslim must only be obedient to others when it involves the obedience of Allah, the Exalted. Acknowledging the lordship of Allah, the Exalted, includes acknowledging one's servanthood to Him. This in itself is a clear declaration that a Muslim must not chart their own course in life, but they must simply adhere to the commands of their Lord, Allah, the Exalted. Therefore, a Muslim should never declare their servanthood to Allah, the Exalted, by declaring His lordship through their words and then contradict their declaration through their actions. Chapter 26, verses 23 to 24.
Said Pharaoh, "And what is the Lord of the worlds?" Moses said, "The Lord of the heavens and earth and that between them, if you should be convinced."
As Allah, the Exalted, is the Lord of the worlds, it means that He owns the entire creation. When a Muslim understands that they are owned by Allah, the Exalted, and every blessing, whether internal such as their five senses or external such as wealth, are also owned by Allah, the Exalted, it becomes easy to use the blessings they possess in ways pleasing to Allah, the Exalted. The major reason why people misuse their blessings is because they have falsely believed that they own the blessings, so they therefore can use them according to their own desires. This verse reminds Muslims that all blessings belong to Allah, the Exalted, and therefore they must be used in accordance to His commands. The one who understands this will use their blessings correctly, whereas the one who fails to understand this will not. In reality, in most cases nothing in this material world in itself is good or bad, such as wealth. What makes a thing good or bad is the way it is used. It is important to understand that the very purpose of everything which was created by Allah, the Exalted, was for it to be used correctly according to the teachings of Islam. When something is not used correctly, it in reality becomes useless. For example, wealth is useful in both worlds when it is used correctly, such as being spent on the necessities of a person and their dependents. But it can become useless and even a curse for its bearer if it is not used correctly, such as being hoarded or spent on sinful things. Simply hoarding wealth causes wealth to lose value. How can paper and metal coins one tucks away be useful? In this respect, there is no difference between a blank piece of paper and a note of money. It is only useful when it is used correctly. So if a Muslim desires all their worldly possessions to become a blessing for them in both worlds, all they have to do is use them correctly according to the teachings found in the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. But if they use them incorrectly, then the same blessing will become a burden and curse for them in both worlds. It is as simple as that. One can adopt the correct attitude when they understand the purpose of these blessings. Every worldly blessing a Muslim possesses is only a means which should aid them in reaching the hereafter safely. It is not an end in itself. For example, wealth is a means one should use in order to obey Allah, the Exalted, by fulfilling the commands of Allah, the Exalted, fulfilling their necessities and the necessities of their dependents. It is not an end or an ultimate goal in itself. This not only aids a Muslim in maintaining their focus on the hereafter, but it also aids them whenever they lose worldly blessings. When a Muslim treats each worldly blessing, such as a child, as a means to please Allah, the Exalted, and reach the hereafter safely, then losing it will not have such a detrimental impact on them. They may become sad, which is an acceptable emotion, but they will not become grieved, which leads to impatience and other mental problems, such as depression. This is because they firmly believe the worldly blessing they possessed was only a means, so losing it does not cause a loss in the ultimate goal, namely, paradise, the loss of which is disastrous. Therefore, still possessing and concentrating on the ultimate goal will prevent them from becoming grieved. In addition, they will understand that just like the thing they lost was only a means, they firmly believe they will be provided with another means to reach and fulfill their ultimate goal by Allah, the Exalted. This will also prevent them from grieving. Whereas, the one who believes their worldly blessing is the end instead of a means will experience severe grief when losing it, as their whole purpose and objective has been lost. This grief will lead to depression and other mental issues. To conclude, Muslims should treat each blessing they possess as a means to reach the hereafter safely, not as an end in itself. This is how one can possess things without being possessed by them. This is how they can keep worldly things in their hands and not in their hearts.